edition of Everything Home. I'm your host, Brian Domingo. Today on our show, we're going to show you a project that's a lot simpler than it sounds, and most homeowners are going to have to do it one time or another. We're going to teach you how to remove and replace a dishwasher. Let's go inside and get started on this project. Here's the old dishwasher that we're going to be changing out today. So the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that the dishwasher is empty. As you can see, there's some dirty dishes in here. So let's get these taken out of here and then we'll get started. Now that we've got the dishwasher empty and there's no dirty dishes in it, we're ready to start our project. First thing we're going to want to do, there's three things we're going to need to do right at first, is we're going to disconnect the electrical supply for it, disconnect the drain line for it, and disconnect the water supply. Let's get started on that. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the power supply to the dishwasher. You're going to unplug that. Once you have that unplugged, we're going to turn off the water supply. Once you have the water supply turned off at that end, then you're going to want to remove the water line from the valve. So you can see here they used a solid copper water line. We're going to be changing that to a steel braided line. Once you have that off, you're going to see on top of the sink, you're going to see usually a dishwasher air gap. Below that, that's where the drain line is typically connected from the dishwasher. That goes up to the air gap, and then the other line going down goes to the garbage disposal to drain it. So you're going to want to disconnect the hose that comes directly from the dishwasher. Once you have that removed, then you're going to want to take off the bottom cover plate. Typically on older models, you've got 4 screws that hold that cover plate on. You'll get that removed. That's going to give you access to the water line and electrical underneath the dishwasher. So once you have all 4 screws pulled out, hey, there's that Taco Bell hot sauce I was looking for. All right, now you want to disconnect the water line from underneath the dishwasher. Once you pull that off, there's going to be some water left over in that line, so be ready with a towel or something to mop that up. Now that you have that pulled off, we're going to disconnect the power supply underneath the dishwasher. We've already unplugged it, but we're going to have to disconnect it over here because the hole in the R cabinetry is too small to be able to push the head of the power line through. So we're going to make a bigger hole so that when we reconnect the power supply to the new dishwasher, we'll be able to just push the end through and not have to worry about connecting it underneath when the dishwasher's in. Once you have that disconnected, you're going to want to open up the door and you're going to see the 2 tabs that hold the dishwasher to the counter. Typically there's 2 of those underneath, and you're going to want to remove the screws to those. Before we pull the dishwasher out, let's recap real quick on what we've done. We've disconnected the drain line, the power supply, and the water supply. We've also taken off the screws that help hold it to the countertop. Now that everything's disconnected, we should be able to just slide the old dishwasher right out. It's that simple. Alright, now that we've got the old dishwasher out of here and you've got a gaping hole in your cabinetry, you might want to do a little spring cleaning. It's amazing how much stuff will accumulate under a dishwasher. We've got the old dishwasher out, we've done a little bit of spring cleaning, now it's time to take the new dishwasher out of the box. The easiest way to do that, if you look on the bottom of the box, there's going to be typically a cut line. You're going to want to use a knife and cut along that all the way around the whole box. Okay, now that the box is cut all on the bottom, all you have to do is lift the box right off of the new dishwasher. There you've got our brand new dishwasher. We're going to show you how to hook up the pigtail, which is the electrical, the water line, and then we're going to get this thing back in. Now that you have the new dishwasher out of the box, you're going to want to remove the bottom plate off of it if it is attached to it. On some models it comes already attached, so you'll remove that. Now that we've taken off the front cover so we can easily access the electrical and the plumbing on this, first thing we're going to do is reinstall the pigtail. The pigtail is actually just the wires that will end up being plugged in. If you want, if you've never hooked up one of these, then the best thing to do is go to our video on how to install pigtails, and we'll show you exactly how to install this. And then once you've got it installed and watch that video, come back and then we'll show you the rest as far as putting this together. We're going to get started on the drain line to show you how to hook that up. Typically the drain line is already connected to the dishwasher, but you're going to have to add an extension so it'll reach underneath the sink and go up to the air gap. So you're going to want to put the clamp over the line first and then push the line into the receptacle on the dishwasher. And then you're going to want to put that clamp on. Make sure that that line is secure. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the water supply. You're going to want to put this on tight, but you don't want to overly tighten it because typically nowadays on new dishwashers it's just a plastic fitting on the dishwasher, so you don't want to strip that out by overly tightening it. Then you're going to connect the water line to that, and you can see we have this is the steel braided line. Once you get the water line connected, you're going to want to tighten that up. You don't want to over tighten it. Now you're going to want to, these are the leveling legs. There should be one on each corner. You're going to want to push the leveling legs in so that it's easier to slide it in. And then on the top, you're going to want to put the tabs on. These are the tabs that lock it to the countertop. You're going to want to slide that in there, and that just sits in place like that. Okay, now that we've got everything pre-connected, our water line, our pigtail, and our drain line, we've also lowered the leveling legs all the way down to the bottom so that we can easily slide it in. First thing we're going to want to do is take these lines and run them through the cabinets before we start to slide this in. And then once we start sliding it in, we'll slowly pull these to take the slack out and slide the dishwasher in as we take the slack out of these and pull them to the respective positions that they're supposed to go to. Now that all of our lines are pushed through the cabinets to the respective holes, we're going to slowly slide the dishwasher into place. And once we've got it in place, we're going to want to center it within the hole. And once we have it centered in the hole, then we're going to work on leveling the dishwasher out. You want to have your dishwasher level and not rocking back and forth. And then once that's done, then we'll show you how to screw these back in, and we'll almost be done. You can see we're pretty level across the front, but as you go up the cabinet, you can see that we're not plumb. So what we're going to have to do is go underneath the dishwasher, and those leveling legs that we had pushed in, we're going to lower those back out and get it plumb and level and make sure it's not rocking back and forth. Once you get it all plumb and level, you can open up the door of the dishwasher, and then we're going to reattach to the bottom part of the countertop. Make sure your screws are short enough and aren't going to go up and through the top of the counter. Once you get that connected, then you're going to want to reconnect the water line to the valve. You're going to want to put that on, and you're going to want to tighten that up, not overly tight, but you're going to want to make sure that it's good and snug on there. Then you're going to want to turn the water supply back on. Once you have the water supply on, then check for leaks, and then once you make sure there's no leaks, then you can put the bottom cover plate back on. And once you reattach the bottom cover plate, then we're going to reattach the drain line next. So we had pushed that through the counter. Now you're just going to want to reattach that up to the air gap. You want to make sure you tighten up that clamp good so it doesn't leak. And then the last thing you got to do is plug it back in. Well, now that you've got the electrical all hooked up, the water line's hooked up, and the drain line hooked up, everything's back in and secure, it's all level, it's ready for use. It's that simple to remove and replace your old dishwasher. Thanks for watching.